What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch and review for you. So today I am actually sharing the first fall collection of the year. We've got the OPI What's Your Mani-tude collection for fall 2025. And I know what you're probably thinking, it's a little early for fall collections, but this is the time of year that they come out. I honestly love it, one, because fall is my favorite time of year, but two, because I think it gives people a lot of time to be able to order the polishes so that by the time you're ready to actually wear your fall manicures, you will already have them. But anyway, today we're talking about the What's Your Mani-tude collection. They do have 12 nail polishes in this set. They're all cream finishes. And if you're familiar with OPI, you probably know that they also have their Infinite Shine line, which is their longwear polishes. They do actually have a fall collection for those as well, but they are different colors. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. Stay tuned. But yeah, I was definitely excited for this because fall collections from OPI tend to be my favorite of the year. I think they always do just an incredible job. But yeah, I'll do the swatches first, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. This one is the KB Shimmer base coat. And we'll start off with this shade Slip Dressed Up. This one is a gorgeous brick red cream, and you can actually see on the first coat, it has a little bit of that jelly-like consistency. It's not quite sheer, but I would almost describe it as being a crelly, and it actually did end up giving me really beautiful coverage. So I covered up that visible nail line in the second coat. It was super smooth and easy to apply, and I feel like OPI just does reds really well, so it's a nice classic color to have, a nice deep orangey brownish kind of tone, and it feels really perfect for fall. And then we have the shade Totally Red-ical, and this one is the reason why I am always gushing about OPI reds. This is absolutely stunning. It's almost like a neon red. It has that very bright orangey undertone to it, and it actually gives me one coat coverage, but I am showing you a second coat just so you can see what it looks like. This shade is just so vibrant and gorgeous. Sometimes I think of this as a summery kind of red, but honestly, looking at it within this collection, I feel like it makes so much sense for fall. And I also love this kind of really vibrant red against like neutral shades, especially if I'm talking about like a leopard print kind of vibe. Like this with a leopard print accent nail would be so perfect for autumn to me. Maybe that's the New Jersey in me speaking, but honestly, I love this color. This was a surprise favorite. Actually, it's probably not a surprise because I always love OPI reds. Next up, we have the shade Penny Loafer Lane, and this one is a mustard yellow cream shade. And again, really impressive coverage here. I did end up covering that visible nail line in the first coat, but I did need a second coat just to get full coverage. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I honestly love mustard colors, but I feel like they make my skin tone look so bad. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was just that more neutral undertone to this one, but I do feel like it flattered my skin tone. So very excited to wear this one. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we have the shade Cargo All Out, and this one is a really beautiful mossy kind of green shade, and this was another one I was really excited about. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit more of an avocado green vibe. I know this collection is supposed to be representative of 90s vibes, but at least the first half of the collection was definitely giving me more of a 70s look. So I was really excited to see that this one had a very cool, almost blue undertone to it, and the formula was amazing. I actually applied it a little bit sloppily, but it ended up leveling itself out so nicely. Next, we have the shade Baby Tee-l. And this one is a really beautiful teal cream. Again, you could see the opacity on this was stunning. It was almost one coat coverage, but I did end up needing a second just to get that nice, full, smooth opacity on the nail. And this is another really beautiful color. It definitely gave me those autumnal sort of vibes. I feel like these deeper blues always tend to do that for me, but this one had a really interesting brightness to it that's different from what I'm used to seeing this time of year. So I really enjoyed that. I actually think it's very slightly brighter than it appeared on camera, so something just to keep in mind. Okay, so I felt like that first half of the collection definitely veered into 70s territory for me, and then this second half of the collection feels very distinctly 90s, starting with this shade Baggy Jean Baby, and this one is a really beautiful periwinkle cream shade, definitely leaning heavily towards the blue color, and this to me is just the color of the 90s. I feel like this was the color color of the eyeshadows. This was the color of the outfits, and the formula was so amazing on this. I kind of expected it to be a 3-coater just because it's on the softer side, but it ended up giving me really nice coverage. Then we have the shade Crimp and Proper, and this one is, I never know how to describe this kind of color, but it's somewhere between being a purple, a gray, and a beige, and I absolutely love this shade. Again, it feels very grungy 90s vibes to me. It does dry slightly darker than it looks when you're applying it on the nail, so again, just something to keep in mind. But this one, again, amazing opacity. It really did give me 1-coat coverage, and I feel like this is going to be so nice in nail art, but it also feels like just a perfect way to introduce the gloomier fall vibes. Then we have the shade Flannel Aerobics, and this one is a neutral blush kind of mix between a beige and a pink, and I have to say, first of all, this is super opaque. It gave me 1-coat coverage, and I always love to see these lighter shades giving me 1-coat coverage, especially because sometimes when I'm in a rush, I really want to have my nails painted, but I don't want to go through the whole act of doing multiple coats, so I always love OPI creams for that reason. I feel like when they do a good quality opaque cream, it's always amazing. But what I want to say about this color in particular, specifically about the 90s, is this is the exact color of those silly putty eggs. If anybody else remembers those, that is the exact color that I see in this, and I don't know, it just gave me a little bit of nostalgia. Then we have the shade Bubblegum Goth, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a really beautiful color on its own. It's almost this salmon leaning vibrant pink cream, but I will say within the context of this collection and also just as a fall color in general, I am not totally vibing with this color. It feels like a really fun spring or summer shade to me, but I just don't think that it matches the vibe of the rest of the collection, and this doesn't feel like a color that I would wear this time of year, so wasn't totally thrilled with that. I feel like the teasers made it look like it was going to be more of a dusty salmon color, which I think would have suited a little bit better, but like I said, it's still a really gorgeous color on its own, so I'm not mad about it. Moving on, we have the shade Suzi's Pager, and this one is a light gray cream shade, and I feel like it's actually been a while since I've said this, but I love a light gray nail polish. For whatever reason, in my head, gray feels like a neutral on my nails, and I feel like that doesn't necessarily make sense within nail polish because neutrals are more like skin tone colors, but I don't know, there's just something about a good gray that feels like a perfect palette cleanser to me, and that's what I'm seeing in this color. It's really just the perfect shade. I feel like you can use it as a base for something, you can wear it on its own. It definitely has that sort of 90s grungy vibe, but I feel like this is also a color you can wear literally any time of year. So the last 2 polishes in the collection are actually specialty finishes. This first one is called Band Tease, and this one is a blackened gold shimmer. So we've got this black jelly sort of base, and then we have this very intense brownish gold shimmer running throughout. And on the first coat, I was a little nervous. I thought this was going to end up needing 3 coats because it was a little bit sheer, but it ended up giving me full coverage in 2. Definitely looks mostly black on the nail unless a light is hitting it, and then you can see that gorgeous brownish gold kind of color. So another really pretty one, definitely gives me that grungy 90s sort of vibe. And then last but not least, we have this shade Grunge Queen. So this one is also a black jelly base, and then within it we actually have these metallic pinky red flakes running throughout, and again, this gave me perfect coverage in 2 coats. So mostly looking at the nail, you see the black color, but then where the light hits it, you can see those little sparkles, and it's really gorgeous. This actually reminds me of a shade that honestly, I feel like it came out like 10 years ago, but OPI did a collection with Coca-Cola, and they did a Diet Coke color. I can't recall the name of the color, but I feel like it was this exact polish. So it's definitely not around anymore. I probably have a bottle if I could compare it, so I might do that in a little short, but yeah, definitely a nice revival of that shade because I do remember loving it. So yeah, here's the whole collection. We have just such a beautiful mix of cream finishes here and then a couple of these specialty shades, but I just love how many colors we got within this collection. I love all the different vibes in here. You could definitely see that first row is giving me a little bit of like a 70s vibe, and then the middle row is very strongly 90s feeling to me. But honestly, these colors in general just feel like good staple shades. I feel like a lot of them could be used for multiple times in the year, which is something that I really appreciate OPI doing, because because they're always thinking about the longevity of their polishes. So definitely enjoyed that. I really love the quality of OPI cream finishes. I think they always do an amazing job with those. So definitely impressed with that as well. And overall, I'm just very excited for fall collections to start coming out. So I was really excited for these, but yeah, let's talk about them a little bit more. So those are the polishes, and I have to say, I keep on straying away from cream finish polishes because I'm just preferring specialty polishes lately. But every time I try an OPI cream finish, I am reminded why that has always been my favorite finish historically. I think they just do such an incredible job creating very beginner-friendly, very self-leveling formulas, and they always just do a really beautiful variety of shades. I honestly loved the color story of this collection. The first half having that almost 70s inspired vibe felt very fall to me, and then we also have those more cool neutral tones that I associate with the cooler weather, so I thought that was really great as well. The one that I didn't think really fit the collection was that pink, and I do excuse it with OPI a lot because I feel like in general they do have to release some pinks and reds in every collection just because it's such a mainstream brand and those tend to be their top selling colors. But yeah, I just felt like it was a little bit too bright for this time of year. Maybe it's a good end of summer color, so I'll probably wear it for that, but I feel like just in terms of fall, I think it's just a little bit too bright and summery for me. But yeah, I did think it was weird though because the promo pics of this collection made it look like a dusty salmon color, which I think actually would have fit really well within the collection, but in person it almost felt like a bubblegum kind of pink, which I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me. But yeah, aside from that pink, honestly, I really did enjoy this collection. I thought everything was such good quality, and I always love using cream finishes for nail art specifically, so I feel like this is definitely a great collection for some fall inspired nail art. But yeah, let me know what you think, but let's get on to the pricing and availability. Now these polishes come in the regular OPI bottles. They are 15 milliliters and they do have a wide flat brush that has a straight tip. Like I always say, these are very self-leveling, so as they dry, they kind of smooth out on your nail even if you aren't perfect with application, which is something that I love about OPI. And I tend to get my OPI polishes from Beyond Polish, which is an online retailer, and they do sell a bunch of other brands as well, including indie and mainstream polishes. So there, these polishes retail for $9.25 USD each, and I also have an affiliate discount code, so you can use the code KELLI to get 10% off. I'm gonna link that down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested. But like I said, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this collection? What do you think about cream finishes in general? Because I feel like the majority of my audience tends to prefer the more specialty finishes. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! For today's Would You Rather, I thought it would be fun since this is a cream finish collection, and I feel like I've said that like 80 times in this video. I thought it would be fun to ask for you guys, would you rather always have a glossy finish on your cream polishes or always have a matte finish? And I feel like the answer is tough for me because when I was in my nail art days, which if you've watched me for a long time, you probably know that I used to do all nail art, and now I kind of focus on individual polishes just because I just love wearing polishes on their own. I don't know. But during my nail art days, I always mattified my manicure, always, because I just thought that nail art looked better that way. But now I always like a glossy finish. So it's kind of tough because I feel like when it comes to like a crelly finish or something a little funky, I also do like to mattify it. But I think if I had to choose one for the rest of my life, I would probably choose glossy just because I feel like it feels a little bit easier. Like I don't know how to explain that. The texture is a little bit better. I don't know. There's something about the texture of matte polish that I don't like as much. It's not like off-putting to me, but it's definitely not as smooth as just touching my glossy nails. I feel like some of you have to relate to that, but let me know your answer in the comment. We can chat about it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.